Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Driveway Engineer. I'm JR. I'm up here with Hazelnut. You guys can't see her, she's off camera. Um, what follows here is an intro to my 440 swap into my D100. It's a 1988 model. I didn't have a way, I have a lot of footage, and I didn't have a way to put it together into a cohesive thing. I'm waiting on my transmission, and then at that point I'll have to wait on the drive shaft. But if you've forgotten, or if this is the first video you've seen, this is a 1988 D100 that came with a 3.9 liter V6 that I swapped a 318 into, and then later I swapped a 5.3 LS into, then back to a 318, and now to a 440. All of this video is just footage of me getting ready to swap the engine in because I'm waiting on the transmission to come back from the transmission shop. So if you're curious why that is, the 727 Dodge, like Ford, uses different bolt patterns for everything. So you can't just mix and match engines. Big block has to go to a big block, small block has to go to a small block. Slant 6 has to go to a slant 6. Frustrating. One of the reasons why I was just going to get rid of the truck, but I digress. So in the RV application, they used a really short tail shaft, and it had a fixed yoke. And then they used like a mile-long drive shaft with a slip yoke in it. And I could have put the transmission in that way and had a drive shaft built with a slip yoke. For my wife to use, I felt it was easier just to have like factory components. They did put 440s and 727s into D100s in the 70s. I don't know if they did it in a short bed, but probably. So I can spend my time doing other things. I have a lot of other projects going on and different things. I just dropped it off at the transmission shop, and they told me they were a month out when I dropped it off, and it's been about a month, so I'm probably going to follow up with them this week. But, so just ignore the different intros that I do in the video. I don't feel like clipping them all out. We're going to go through cleaning up the engine and kind of desmogifying it and painting it and cleaning up the truck. The truck was fine. It was always fine. I don't know why I could never get anybody to show up and even look at it, even make me an offer. I went as low as $600 on it and never got anybody to show up, and it's rust-free, sweet, mint truck. So, except for the windshield drip rail, which I'll have to fix maybe someday. But anyway, my wife wants an old truck to drive to the farmer's market and pick up plants and pick up mulch and pick up cow shit. So all of the cool things that would prolong a build for months and months and months. I've got a killdozer here that I printed. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, none of that's going to happen. Like, I'm just going to put this engine in stock. I have no reason to believe that it needs any modifications or anything. So enjoy the video.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Driveway Engineer. Welcome back to the 440 series for my Dodge. From the last video, if you remember, which I don't know when it came out in scheduling, but this is a RV 440. I don't know what it's out of, but I picked it up for $450 on Marketplace, complete with a 727 and some kind of ignition system and some kind of Edelbrock carb that seems to be, it's working more freely today. It was seized up the other day. So step one for me, a lot of people will dig into this and they won't stop, right? I want to see what I'm dealing with here. One thing that I'm dealing with is this cool York compressor, which people used to turn these into onboard air. And I think I'm actually going to do for the 4Runner. I'll figure out a way. I don't see a reason why I can't mount it on the passenger side right now, but we'll see. Let me get this backed out of here and get the straps off of it and kind of blow the rat turds out of it, which there's quite a few down in there. And we'll start there and go from there. So bring you guys right back. Alright, so I blew a bunch of rat turds off of it and crap, and it makes it a little more pleasant to touch. But you still have like a bewildering amount of layers, you know, and I'm not a Mopar guy, So I don't know exactly what these do. It looks like a converter clutch that somebody put a shitty crimp on. This is PCV. I don't know where it was going. If you're looking at something like this, like some smog era shit for the first time, it can be really bewildering, you know. What I can tell you is all of these are the same. It doesn't matter if it's a Duraspark or if it's an HEI or if it's whatever Chrysler called theirs. There's going to be like 2 wires coming off this distributor that go to that box, and there's going to be 12 volts going in, and you feed the coil at 12 volts, and you're done. I can look at this and see, like, I don't need this air compressor for anything. I might use it for the Toyota, but I don't need it, and it's big and in the way. So I'm going to get that off there. All of this vacuum stuff can come off. Whatever this doohickey is can come off. This can come off. This can come off. You want to get it down to where it's just the distributor and the wires to the coil and the carburetor, and that's it. That's all it needs to run. You need other stuff like vacuum advance to see. That's what this is. But why it's teed, it should never be teed, but it is. So we'll get rid of that. For now, we're not going to worry about vacuum advance just to make it run as is. I don't think it's going to run as is, just judging by the condition of this ignition. So it'll probably wind up with an HEI on it. But for today, I'm going to worry about desmogifying this stuff. And I'll come back in JR time tomorrow. But for you guys next, you'll see this next when it's ready to be cleaned up. Like missing a nut on the carb, stack spacers, gaping hole in it. It has a very low likelihood of running as is. I'm not surprised it was running poorly or not at all. But I'll bring you guys back. Alright, it's still today. I just wanted to show you guys real quick, like, this is now something manageable, right? Like, you understand, I understand what's going on here. You probably understand. He got a carb. He wants fuel to come in over here. He got a distributor. He got a coil. I actually wanted to show you this. Like I said, 2 wires always going in. I'm going to unhook that from the coil. I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to assume it doesn't work. I'm probably going to use a GM HEI module. They used to be like $7, and I'm sure they're not anymore, but they're still pretty cheap. So tomorrow I will degrease this thing and power wash it, and it'll be ready for, you know, a high performance build. I want to show you guys where the hell that thing. Oh, I probably threw it away. I'll put a picture in of how gross. Somebody RTV'd the thermostat in for Lord knows what reason. Good times. So, see you guys tomorrow. I'm just going to do an update on the 440 swapping in the Dodge. I don't really know where I'm at. I have some footage that I may or may not insert of me tearing the, well, not really tearing it down, but like desmogifying it. I actually have another intake on the way. The paint is just Rust-Oleum red from a can. Nothing real spectacular, literally. I have another intake on the way because it's cooler. I got these cool Mickey Thompson valve covers off of Marketplace for like 150 bucks. It's gonna be a very cool looking engine when it goes in. I got the Dodge over here. I got the front clip back off, which was never bolted on. Well, never bolted on since the first time I unbolted it. But you can see that, like, this is a mess. It's just a mess. Like, what the fuck is going on here? I don't really know. I don't really know. So, again, my wife asked to use this truck for like farm duties, which is what it really did down in Alabama for 30 years. I can tell by all the holes drilled in the bed for, you know, hold downs or camper tie downs. I don't know. There's a handle on the top. People ask about that. When I was a kid, I like baled hay. That would have been useful for throwing hay or newspapers. I did that also. This is a nice truck. I don't know why I couldn't get anybody to come buy it for $1,000. But again, my wife, this is my wife's truck now. She's claimed it for herself. So it's gross inside. I'm going to clean it up before I pull it up there. I'm going to pull the carpet out. The seat's already out. I'm just going to put a cover on it for her, let her clean it up and put a cover on it. Wiring's going to be as dead simple as it can be. I do have to remove the brake booster also, which was kind of the driving reason behind, you know, removing the seat today. Once I clean that up and stuff and it dries out, I can climb in there easier. You know, at 6'5", it's not exactly easy. But this big brake booster is not going to work for the 440 deck height. But also I'll blow out this cowl, which is full of shit. There's my body shims. Woo! Yeah, just get it cleaned up and then pull it up there under the hoist so that I can work on it in the next few weeks. The transmission is at a transmission shop, and they were about a month out when I dropped it off a week and a half ago. So probably won't be seeing that before long. If you didn't see my other video, which was meant to be short and to the point, this bracket right here is all you need to go from a 318 or a 3.9 to any other Dodge engine. Seat's really not in bad condition. You know, it's got the normal butt area rip, but the cover itself is just rotten, literally rotten, falling apart. It's like an old burlap sack. Some meese were in here living probably, and that's uncool. Not really sure. This is a $22 universal harness from eBay that I got, and this is what I'll be using to run the truck from now on. I'm just considering like how I can integrate with the factory HVAC, but not really a big deal for what she's gonna do with it. But I'm gonna keep throwing stuff away here, and I will bring you guys back. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned, Brittany asked me to bed liner the floor too. She actually prefers that. My wife is very practical, so I'll probably do that too. But yeah, I'll bring you guys back. All right, I was just going through my paint stash here. That's almost empty and it might be dried up, but I have plenty of rusty metal primer. The red that I did on the engines going in the Ford. Anyway, the reason for that, let me show you where we're at here. I got the booster off, no big deal there. I mean, it kind of sucked, but whatever. Clean the cowl out best I could. We'll probably go in with compressed air tomorrow and do a better job. Dodge really didn't, like, I keep trying to figure out if this truck was gray once or if they just skimped on the primer, and I think they just skimped on the primer everywhere. But clean the seat up, put it back in, blew the dash out. You know, I literally power washed this. This is what, you know, actual rust-free floors look like. This is not, this will actually just come off. So my wife wants to bed liner this, Brittany wants it bed linered, but I think I might come in here tomorrow and rusty metal primer it and cover it up with black for the moment, for the time being, forever. The bed, same thing. I've never had this tailgate open. Turns out there's two little, because the latch wasn't working and I just didn't care enough, but there's two little secret catches on the side. I was concerned that was a hole, but apparently it's a plug. But yeah, I gotta clean this out tomorrow. There's some trash in the leaves, otherwise I'd just push the leaves out and light them on fire. That's all the crap I've taken out of it so far. I did have a temporary moment of madness where I thought that I might take this heater box off and screw with it, and then I came to my senses and was like, oh yeah, how about I don't do that and leave it alone. So yeah, it's not in the way. That booster is, and I had another temporary moment of madness where I considered putting a hydro boost on it so that I'd have maximum room to take the valve cover off. And then I came to my senses and said, what the fuck am I taking the valve cover off for anyway? So yeah, I think that's probably going to wrap it up for the day. All right, folks. I don't remember where I left off, but it's Sunday, and I got the booster out of the way. I think they're like $90 for a 8-inch dual diaphragm on Rock Auto, so I'm just gonna do that today. I washed this seat out. It smells like a laundromat in here now, which is much better than it smelled before. But I'm gonna take the seat back out. Obviously Brittany needs to pick a cover for it, but I want to clean up the floors and throw a little Rust-Oleum down where the carpet was ruining it. There's actually like significant rust up here, which I'm not that worried about. I don't really care. I'll clean that out, not this year, but some year. But what's happening is because of this hole, and then somebody tried to spray foam it or whatever, it looks like, it's running down through the A-pillar, and then it sits under the carpet, and the carpet ruins it. But anyway, goals for today: get the seat out, get the floor cleaned up, get the leaves and miscellaneous shit out of the bed, wash it out real quick, and then I'm going to pull the 4Runner forward, pull the Dodge up there, and pull my 4Runner up here so that I can, that's actually almost ready to run. So needs a radiator. I know there's a radiator sitting in it, but I don't like it, so I'm gonna get another radiator for it. But the brackets I need to get powder coated and just kind of hook stuff up, and it'll be ready to go. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work. I'll bring you guys back and show you some progress. All right, I don't know exactly where I left off yesterday or earlier today, whatever, but I wire brushed this floor out, blew most of the crap out of it. It's still a little dirty, and that's okay, because, you know, what's a little grit gonna hurt in the paint on the floor? There's two screws. That's an exhaust hanger, Alabama. But yeah, I'm gonna get in here with my Rust-Oleum heavy metal primer, and I'm gonna lay 2 coats of that down and probably a single coat of black, and I'm gonna throw the seat back in, and I'm gonna be done with the interior for now. So I'll bring you guys back when the primer's in. All right, so I took the time to knock all the rivets off the side, or whatever, little tabs, where the rub rails were, rub guards, whatever. This needs some more time to dry, as I went really heavy, and that's okay. But before I brush on the black, I think I'm just gonna shut the doors. I'm gonna sand. You always gotta, it's hard, it can be hard, figure out where you want to draw a line. I'm gonna draw the line at the body line right here. I'm gonna tape that off. I'm gonna 180 down below and 320 if I have it with a DA, and I'm gonna freshen her up with some Rust-Oleum. So I'll bring you guys back right before I paint.
Look at all that safety.
Huh?
You're not supposed to look when I'm videoing you. That's what sneaky wives are for. Lots of safety going on here, though. Look at that truck. It's going to be so pretty. I'm going to haul lots of mulch and plants. and veggies and furniture and yard sale finds. It's gonna be the best.
All right, so I'm going to show you the other side, which I haven't painted yet. I showed you in process here. And this is what we're going for. This is one coat. I'm going to do two, but this is what we're going for. It looks fine from right here. When you get right up on it, I don't know if I can see that in the camera or not. There's still marks from where I used the flap wheel to take the pins off. That takes, you know, high build primer and blocking and just stuff I'm not going to get to this year. Like, look at this bedside. It's chippy. My wife watches some crafting channel where they do chippy paint. But compared to this side, compared to what it was before with the big dumb 80s tastic bumper thingies on it, it's way better for a few bucks and some effort. And that's what we're going for. So it will serve for this year. I'm going to get back to it. By now, most of us have seen the card trick around the wheels. I'm using Disney Princess learning cards so I can learn how to count and paint at the same time. So this is a 440 Chrysler big block on my stand here, and it's going in my Dodge, and I have to swap the oil pan in the pickup, which is why it's on the stand. This is my 440 for my wife's truck right there. When your Uncle Rodney tells you, boy, you better change that goddamn rear main seal while you at it. Been building engines since the best part of you was running down your daddy's leg. He means these kind. This is a rope seal. Most of these gaskets are cork. They're not reusable. They come off in a billion pieces and wind up all over the floor of your shop. Like so. Like so. But I thought modern gaskets, like this rear main, it's a two-piece, but it's rubber, floral elastomer, and it's reusable. If you don't have any reason to believe that yours is leaking, don't change it. The steel embossed gaskets with like the red or the blue O-ring in them, they're reusable. That silicone is reusable. This came off in 497,000 pieces. It's obviously not reusable. So it's getting replaced because I have to change the oil pan. Anyway, I made a grave mistake here. I took this punch and I thought that I would just knock it right out, and that did not at all work. But I'm going to show you real quick what is working. Is a couple of screws, and I push down on one side and I screw it in the other side and I pry it up and it breaks out, and I'm getting it out about 1/8 of an inch at a time this way, which is awesome. But at least I don't have to take the heads off. So I'll bring you guys right back and I will show you a comparison of the two once I have this all the way out. Alright, so in this upper retainer you can see how it's just a rope. It's like graphite impregnated, maybe asbestos, who knows. Kind of obvious which one's going to last longer though, right? The little flappy goes up against the flat side. I'm going to get this side out. I'm going to get some STP on the main bearings, get them torqued back down. I had to pry up on the crank to give enough room for it to walk out. But yeah, I'm going to button it back up and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Oh, when you put these in, you should offset them. I do a fair bit. Some people do like very little. I do like 1 inch. So yeah, have this one up and this one down and vice versa. And then my right stuff, this is the stuff. Dab on each end and it shouldn't leak. So I'll bring you back. Alright, there we are installed. Everything has a thin coating of right stuff on it. You can see it oozed out a little bit down here at the bottom. I'm pretty confident that at the very least it won't leak terribly. So that's it. That's what you have to do when you're working with old stuff. So thanks for watching. Hope it helps. Alright, as you guys saw in a separate video, the rear main is done. The 440 source truck oil pan is ready to go. I probably could have saved money. It's hard to say. It's real close. So Like I paid $450 for the engine and immediately paid $450 for all the shit to make it fit in the truck, which was the oil pan and pickup and whatever. So paying like $1,000 for a truck engine that's already from like a mid-70s would have probably been a decent way to go. But I'm gonna get my oil pan gasket on here, get my new front sump pan,